Hi, this is Tony from BesideTheFrontDoor.com, and we're going to be talking about the Meyer lemon trees and planting any of the trees in a container and what size container you're going to need. Now, first question is you have to have your plant first. That's going to help you judge your container. Now, if you get just a tiny small transplant in a small little 1 gallon pot or so, then you only want to go up to maybe a 3 gallon, a 10-inch pot at the largest for your fruit bushes or trees to start with. And since this is going to live with that soil for a long time, it is best to spend the money to get a good potting soil. It doesn't have to be labeled organic, but it should have organic components in it. Some good ones to consider are worm castings or bat guano, kelp meal, the different long-lasting nutrient-based potting soils that are going to break down slowly over years, where it's going to be using these nutrients. Now, from there, every time you're needing to repot it, and the best time to repot this tree is when it starts asking for more water than you want to give it. That's a good time to repot it. The longer you keep it in a smaller container, the better you're going to be able to keep its growth under control, so it doesn't get too big too fast. Because something like a Meyer lemon, you need to move indoors during the winter, and the bigger the pot, the harder it is to move. And you don't need a huge tree to be able to have it set its lemons. So controlling that growth a bit is a good thing. You don't need it to go out of control really quickly. But every time you do need to repot that, when you take it out of the old container, loosen those roots up a little bit because they will be quite root bound at that point. And that's fine. You're moving up, but just loosen it up a little bit. Make sure no roots are twisting around each other. And I would put it up about 2 or 3 sizes above the size pot it was in to begin with. So if you have a 10-inch pot, it should go to a 12 or a 14 at least. And again, when the extra soil that's going in, it's going to be more expensive than your inexpensive soils, but it's going to be either peat moss or cocoa fiber or composted forest products based. And you're going to have those long-lasting, organic sourced, and by organic I mean a living base, which is going to break down slowly, not organic as far as whether any chemicals were involved. Organic-based fertilizers that are going to give long-term fertility, as well as the micronutrients, which are not included in your regular fertilizers. Repot them back in, settle it down, and every time you repot a plant, especially a bigger tree like this, you would have gotten into a habit of when it needs water and when to check it. You need to recheck that again, because a new watering pattern will develop for that tree after it has been repotted. It's also a good idea to keep it in a shady area for a week or two after you've repotted it, to give it a chance to recover from loosening up those roots a bit and regrow those micro hairs. And that would be a really good idea. Also, a lot of people forget that when they have them flowering indoors in the winter, there are usually no bees indoors during the winter, or I should certainly hope not. But the bees aren't going to be there to pollinate it. So if you regularly get flowers, but you're not getting fruit, it's probably because it's not getting fertilized. The way you can go in to fertilize that is take a small paintbrush, like what they have in the kids' watercolor sets, and you just go to each blossom with the end of that and jiggle it in the blossom and hit every single blossom like that and jiggle it, and the next blossom, hit every one that's open, and the next day do the same thing, and you will get that being fertilized from flower to flower when that pollen is ready and when that stigma is ready to get it, and you'll find that you will have fruit on that plant. Now also remember, with the really large pots that you're going to get, you need a way to get them into and out of the house. Make sure your size pot will fit in your door. Also, there's wonderful plant dollies. Check the weight on them that will roll them in and roll them out. Some of the inexpensive ones only go up to 50 pounds, 100 pounds. Go for the good 300-pound ones for your large plants, because you're going to need it. Wet soil that's holding moisture in a big tree is going to take a lot of weight. So for full of how to do this and how to choose your plant pots, go to besidethefrontdoor.com and check me out there. Thank you. Bye.